Hi everyone, this is Tina with Dirt Therapy, Zone 5B6A. If you're new here, welcome. If you are not here, thank you for coming back. Today I wanted to talk about some of the successes, the fails, the things that I like to change, and what our upcoming plans are for 2025. So, the first thing I wanted to talk about is some of the successes and fails. So, we all have successes and we all have fails. I mean, that is a part of learning our gardens, right? We're ever changing, and so are our gardens. We have to consider so many different factors. We have to consider how much water we have, how much, what the soil is like, what zone do we live in? And we have so many different things that we have to consider. Do we have a space for it? Do we really like that plant? And so those are some of the things that I learned as well. You also have to think about how much pest resistance things are, or critter control, or there are so many different things that has to be done, and you're not going to be able to learn it all, and everybody's different in their gardens. So the first thing I wanted to talk about is my successes. I had very good success in some of the veggie garden areas. I had a lot of peppers, from jalapenos to bell peppers, tomatoes. They were really good. Once I caged them off, we had a groundhog that was getting into the tomato patch. I had to end up making a deer fencing that kind of went around the raised garden bed to block off the critters from going in there. And that worked. So then I was able to get a mass production of tomatoes. I did the Sun Gold and I did the Purple Cherokee. Love the Purple Cherokee and the Sun Gold. I'm just going to downsize how many plants I plant next year because I had way too many tomatoes even after the groundhogs got to it. So that is one thing that I am changing for next year. The one thing that failed was the squash. I did a whole pumpkin patch for my grandson. We got a few beautiful pumpkins out of it, and then the squash bugs and this other like red bug took over. I think it was a left-footed bug. I think that's what it's called. They took over the garden, and I was out there every day trying to vacuum and the squash bugs, try to get these left-footed bugs off. It was an everyday problem, and I don't have that kind of time. I work full time, so I don't have the ability to be able to spend all of the time that I do get outside spending it vacuuming off squash bugs. So I am going to be taking a break from all type of squash plants for next year. I just need a break. The amount that I'm getting from it isn't enough to justify how much work goes into it. So I'm just not going to do it this year. But one of the successes that I had was the butter crunch lettuce. I planted that in the spring. I started it in the house, took the transplants outside in the spring, and my goodness, we had so much butter crunch lettuce. It's really good for you. We ended up getting almost all the way through early summer, before I had to start pulling them because they were starting to bolt. But we were making wraps, we were making salads. It was really great. And honestly, I wish that I could grow that all year long. And it might be some kind of experiment that I am going to do in the house and see if we can have that production a little bit earlier in the winter versus having some in this just waiting until spring. But we'll see. I don't know yet what exactly I'm going to do. Uh, Also, some other things that I'd really like to incorporate in the garden this year is just adding a couple different varieties of peppers, because we do a lot of stuffed peppers and a lot of bell pepper usage. So I really want to kind of increase that. I am not going to do potatoes this year. The potato crop just wasn't what I was hoping it would be, considering we had a groundhog that kept laying on the top of the green stems of the potato plants. So I am not going to do that this year. And I'm thinking that I might replace those with maybe some raspberry plants or some blueberries. Not sure which one I'm going to put in there, but we really do like our fruits, and I think that that would be a great thing to incorporate into the garden. So there are some things that I also want to add and I want to decrease. So just like our houses, they get cluttered and we have way too much stuff. Right now, I'm feeling that way in the garden. I really want to eliminate some of the plants that have self-seeded themselves. I want to keep the original plant, but the self-seeded plants, I want to remove them to kind of have a control over it. I want to plant more annuals around the Garden Avenue border because it has a concrete border and it really holds that in. And I want to have some kind of annual color all year long, all the way down Garden Avenue. And I'll show you Garden Avenue if you haven't seen it before. I'll throw a picture up here so you can see what our Garden Avenue looks like. So some of the exciting things that we did this year in 2024, we added a island in our front yard, incorporating our two trees. We have an ash tree and a crabapple tree. It is a profusion crabapple, and it holds its little crab apple fruit. It holds onto it so it doesn't fall, and then the birds can enjoy it in the wintertime. So I really like that. We put a kind of a, we were calling it our berm for a really long time, but now we're calling it the front yard island. And I planted some plants in there. I definitely am looking to plant some more things in there in the spring and into the summer. But we at least got that part done. So I will throw a picture up so you can see what our front yard island looks like. Another thing that we did this year was we created our tree border. Now that is not done yet. It's in our backyard up against our fence, our backyard fence. It is not completed yet, but I've been slowly working on it. So we have a few different trees in that area, and I have started planting a few perennials. I even put a full swoop of sage cheese daffodils I planted there. I am really excited to see what that color is going to look like in spring when it starts blooming. I think it's going to just be very gorgeous. The one thing that I am continually working on is getting cardboard and putting it down as a layer of protection. I want to make a weed suppressant, and I use cardboard for a lot of projects when I am trying to kill off the grass in a certain area to make a new flower bed. I use cardboard. And now I take all the tape off and I just lay down the cardboard, but it is definitely a help benefit because it breaks down, but it also gives you that layer of protection. So I'll just put down the cardboard and then I'll put mulch on top of it. And that really holds it down and makes it a lot easier to go in the following season and start planting. So this area didn't have a ton of weeds, but it has enough where I want to get those areas covered. And we ran out of mulch, so we weren't able to mulch the whole thing. So we just tried to cover up the roots of the trees and the new perennial plants that were planted, and then left it for the winter. So even just the other day, it was 50 degrees here. So I decided that I was going to go out and put down a little bit more cardboard. And it was worked out really well because right now, after Christmas, you have all these boxes. You have tons of stuff that you got shipped to your house and people bringing boxes over. So I was able to take a lot of those boxes, break them down, and put them in the tree border. So now there's even more layers of protection in that area to suppress those weeds. Now I still have a couple of things that I have to take care of. We have some wild very invasive Japanese honeysuckle that grows. And if you do not handle it right away, it does spread fast and it gets big. So we've killed off a lot of it, but we have two more sections that are still continuing to grow. They're really small because I did trim them down, try to get down to as low as the root could allow me to cut it. But we still have to get those dug out, and it can be a job. So I have to get some muscle to help me with that come spring. And last but not least, I can't forget that we've got the pool fence up. It is absolutely stunning. It is definitely something that we needed. And I am really kind of kicking myself because We've needed this for a long time, and I just didn't want to give up my view from the pool to be able to see into the garden and enjoy my flowers. However, the way that my husband constructed the pool fence is so I could still see. If I'm on a raft or I'm standing in the pool, I can still look out into the yard and see my flowers, which was really important to me to be able to do. So now I'm like kicking myself saying, gosh, I wish we had put that pool fence up sooner. It looks so much better and it really hides the frame of the pool because it is an above ground pool. And I just didn't like being able to see the edge of it. This really kind of makes it look secluded and much more professional looking. The nice thing is that my husband is very good at building. So he has built a great pergola. He has built all the arbors and trellises, the secret garden. He has just built a whole bunch of things, including the pool fence. I am so happy to say that I'm finally going to get the veggie garden fence that has been much needed for a while now. So we do get critters. They do go into the raised beds. They are not a really tall raised bed. They're only about 10 inches from the ground, but that is enough for the critters to be able to go into my flower beds and get the fruits, vegetables, whatever I'm growing in the garden beds. So I am excited that we're finally going to have a 6-foot fence that surrounds the veggie garden so I can try to keep out the bad critters. Now, bugs, a little different story. I'm not going to be able to eradicate all of them, but at least we can start working on keeping the critters out of my veggies so they have more for ourselves. If I sound a little bit weird, it's because I'm trying to get over a cold. It can't be Christmas without having a cold as well. Spreading Christmas cheer, spreading germs. I think they go hand in hand, right? So, another two projects that we have that we plan on doing this year, so 2025, we're planning on the Zen garden. So we have an area that is above our retaining wall. When we built it in 2021, it was our old retaining wall was just stacked stone brick. And those stack stones did not have an entry point to go up into this area corner of our property. I had to climb it every single time. So it was very hard to maintain. It was exhausting to try to get up there. It would get overgrown all the time during the summer months. And so when we had the wall built in 2021, we asked for a set of stairs to go up there so we could maintain that area. Well, now we're finally ready to pull the trigger on doing a Zen garden. My husband wants to put up a torii gate. Well, he'll make a pagoda, concrete structure. We might have some sitting areas up there and some Japanese maple along with some Hakanakloa grasses. So I'm really excited to see what the whole place is going to look like once we get to break ground on this Zen garden. Another area that I'm super excited about. So my husband just announced it on Christmas Day as a gift to me. And he's even already taken the plans to the city to get them approved. But he is going to be building me a 15 by 12 greenhouse. I am so excited. I can't even hold my composure on this one. So as soon as he gets the approval from the plans, then we're going to start breaking ground. And he's going to be able to start this very soon. So we have an existing concrete patio. It is a 20 by 20 foot slab. This is our basketball court. He is going to sacrifice his basketball court because he doesn't get to play as much as he used to when we were younger and our kids were young. Now we have our grandson taking his toys and playing with it on the basketball court. But there's still going to be enough room on the basketball court for our grandson to be able to play. But primarily, it's going to be my greenhouse and have pots and be able to have a place to put my flowers when I am unable to transplant them in before winter arrives, or being able to harden off those seedlings when I start making those in the next couple months. So I am super excited for it. Of course, we're going to take you along and show you all of the different things that we're going to be working on. Those are just a couple projects. I also have another flower bed that I created last year that is cardboarded and mulched up right now. I'm going to be planting that up. I'm going to be moving some boxwoods. I'm going to be moving some shrubs around. We're going to finish that tree border, maybe get another tree or two in there. I also want to add a big tree to offer more shade in our backyard. So that is also another thing that we are hoping to do in the next season. And, just try to just dream and be inspired before the spring arrives. So I just ordered some of my stuff for like all of my seed packets, some live plants I ordered. So I'm really excited to be able to get those started and in the ground before they are ready to be planted out. So I'm really, really excited for this upcoming season. I did tell myself that I was going to take it a little bit easier on the finances for 2025 because we do have some other things that are really pressing. We have a retaining wall on the west side of our house that needs to be taken care of, and we really have to save for that. That is a major ticket item, not something that we can get done right now, but we definitely need to consider it because it will compromise our house if we do not get it taken care of soon. So that is about it for the plans for 2025. I'm sure that there are going to be some transplanting, some changes to the garden. I really want to make some changes. I feel like sometimes, you know, things get so big, and I want to just kind of declutter the garden a little bit and maybe add some of those plants that I'm moving from one place to another flower bed. Maybe there might be some creating some new flower beds. I'm going to have some opportunity in front of the veggie fence to do up a some type of flowers there. I was thinking about doing maybe a rose section all the way around the garden fence. Maybe that will keep those critters away as an added layer of protection. I'm thinking about that. I'm also thinking about the the tree border, and I'm also thinking about a couple other places that need to have some plants in there. I still want to do some more planting on the front island, and who knows what else we will do. We've even talked about some plans in the front yard, building a pergola in front of our front door, so we have a little bit of added protection from the weather there, and creating a nice little covered seating area. Really, we need the garden fence, greenhouse, tree border, sun garden, and who knows what else we'll add to that list. So thank you, everybody, and we'll see you next time, and have a happy new year. Hope you're enjoying it with your family, and we will see you after the first. Bye.